Good morning. Welcome to Buckeye Wars. This is a little series that I've put together, little snippets, little memories of what it was like for me growing up in the 70s. I lived in El Dorado Hills, California. My subject today is toys from the 70s, kind of things that we played with. The original Frisbee. I know nowadays Frisbee golf is really popular, but we had Frisbees, and they by Whammo, I believe. And we would play Frisbee, throw it back and forth to one another, and do tricks with them. There was the hula hoop, but didn't do that all too much. The girls liked it more than the guys, it seemed. They liked to swish that around and kind of look sexy while they were doing it, I think is why they did it. But for us guys, that was kind of corny. Lawn darts. Have you ever seen a lawn dart? Big old thing with wings on it and a point on it that we would toss across the yard and land it in a kind of a hula hoop set down on the ground to try to land it within that hula hoop. I believe they made them illegal because people were getting speared. Croquet. We liked croquet. Didn't do that all that much. That was kind of a, when everybody got together for like a family reunion, they'd break out the croquet and people would play croquet. That was kind of fun. Us boys really, really liked, there was a gun, toy gun. It was a disc gun, and it fired these little plastic discs that about the size of a penny. So fun, because oh my God, we had these little discs everywhere. I swear, if you walked through my house, there was discs. You would find more discs than you would find hair from the dog. Oh, love those disc guns. There was also another gun. I think it was called a Wasp. Don't quote me on that, but maybe it was called a Wasp. And it had a little cartridge in it that had caps and a little circular, maybe about that big, and all around it there was these little, I don't even know how to describe it, little caps, and you would kind of plug that into the revolver part of the pistol and snap it back in. It kind of looked like a Cops 38, and it was loud. And we loved things that either shot something or made a lot of noise. And this gun was small, fit in the palm of your hand, maybe a little bit bigger than, as a kid, maybe bigger than the palm of your hand as an adult. Now it would probably fit just right in the palm of your hand. And I remember my friend and I, we were hiking up in the hills, and he happened to have the gun with him. I guess we were playing shoot 'em up or whatever. And we saw a coyote off in the distance, and he fired that cap gun, and boy, that coyote thought he was goner, man. He took off like lightning. And the funniest thing. Anyway, that was fun. There was these cars called SSP cars. You would pull a cord, and they would go zzz, and you'd set it down, and they'd shoot off just fast, super awesome. But without the cord, you were stuck. But the cord had striations on it, kind of like what we now have zip ties, and you would put that cord down inside the the little hole on the car, and you would pull it, and it was zing, and then we would set up maybe some jumps, and we would aim for the jump, and these SSP cars would jump, and we could have them like jump over Hot Wheel cars or whatever. That's another thing. Hot Wheel cars were the shit. We did a lot of Hot Wheel cars. What else? Oh, there was a game called Operation, and picture a little, maybe 3 inches tall, square or rectangle box, 3 inches tall by about I don't know, maybe 2 feet by 1.5 feet, and there was a picture of a guy on the front of the box, and you were supposed to operate on him, and attached to the game was a pair of tweezers, and on the game there was little metal lined indentations, and in the bottom of the little indentation was a piece of the guy, like a wishbone or his heart or a funny bone or just silly stuff. And you had to try to, it was electrified by battery, and you had to try to dig out those pieces and get all of the pieces out, because you were the surgeon and you had to fix this guy. And it was hard, because if you touched the side of the metal indentation with your tweezers, it made a connection, and his nose would light up and it would make noise. Zzz, and his nose would light up, and it was somebody else's turn. Just fun. What else? There was an electronic game called Simon. It had these 4 lights on it, and it made noise, and it would give you a series of noises and light up of the little 4 lights, and it would go boop, and then boop boop, and then boop boop boop, and then boop 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 boop, and it would get increasingly more difficult, and you had to try to memorize what it was booping and repeat the sequence. It was hard. That was something that we played with. What else? There were so many nifty toys. Oh my goodness. Oh, Rock'em Sock'em robots. Picture these little robots about, I don't know, 4 inches, maybe even 5 inches tall, little plastic robots in a boxing ring. And on each side of that boxing ring were the controls that you can control your boxing man. And their heads were on little springs, and you boxed by pushing little buttons, and you moved them back and forth with the controls, and you proceeded forward toward your opponent, and you boxed, and you tried to hit him in the chin so that his head would go unk and go sprung, and that meant you knocked his block off. Fun. That was a good one. Rock'em Sock'em robots. Yeah, baby. Slinky. You've probably heard of a Slinky. Some people could do it. I never could figure out how to do it, but you could make a Slinky walk down stairs. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get it to work. So a Slinky for me was, we had this 8-ball plastic 8-ball. We called it the Magic 8-ball. And it had a little, it was kind of full of a liquid. And it had this little window that you could look in, and you could shake it up and then turn it and look in that little window. And the little triangle that was inside the window would come to the window, and kind of like a dice, a multi-sided dice that floated within the 8-ball, and it would situate itself up against the window after you shook it, and it would answer a question for you. So you could say, "Magic 8-ball, will I win the lottery?" And you shake it, and you turn it, and it comes to the window, and it says, "Unlikely." And it would answer your questions. And some people really thought that this was magic and telling them the future. Really popular. Another thing that was popular for a few years was rabbit's feet. Mostly on like a little keychain. An actual rabbit's foot. And they thought it was lucky. Good luck. And they came in a multitude of colors. And I had one. I thought it was lucky. And it's not like I really had anything that needed a key. I'm a kid. The hell am I going to unlock? Oh, maybe my bicycle. The lock on my bicycle. Anyway, I had a rabbit's foot. It was lucky. Yeah, really lucky. What else? There were Legos. Good God, Legos were the thing. If you had to be inside, you wanted to be playing with Legos. We made everything out of Legos. In fact, I took my Lego collection, and I had accumulated quite a bit of Legos, and I gave them to my son. A big old bin full of Legos. And he now has those, and of course he's older now and doesn't play with them anymore, but he kept them. Because when he has kids, he wants to pass it down to his kids, because he knows Legos are awesome. As far as board games, if we got a group of kids together, we would play Monopoly. We would play Sorry. Another one that was really popular was Life. We would play a game called Life. Yeah. But what kind of stuff did we play with often? I would say probably those disc guns, frisbees. Oh, wiffle ball. There was a yellow wiffle ball bat, and the wiffle balls were plastic balls that were hollow and had holes all over them. And, if you didn't want to play baseball or softball, and you're having like a picnic, and you don't want to whack the ball and have it go a million miles and have to chase it down, you would play wiffle ball. And you could smack the piss out of that little ball, and it wouldn't go all that far. So wiffle ball was really popular at picnics. And badminton, of course. Volleyball, basketball, football. Oh, and as far as football, it was Nerf football. Nerf was the thing. And nowadays, real popular are Nerf guns, but they're big. They're you can put multi bullets in the little Nerf guns. That wasn't really going on when we were kids. We had Nerf balls, and I remember The Nerf balls were big. They were about just a little bit smaller than a basketball. And we would take those to the pool, because when you took it to the pool and you stuck it in the water, of course, a Nerf ball, like a sponge. And we would jump off the diving board and throw it. Somebody would be on the shore of the pool, and they would throw the ball at the person that's going on the diving board when he's in the air, and see if they could smack him before he hit the water. And for the brave guys that were going off of the high board, the high dive, it was even more fun. Not everybody wanted to do the high dive because they were a little bit scared of it. Anyway, that's my alarm. I gotta go.